Hello, today's on Business Talk. A more sustainable economy is being developed by Indonesian government by integrating circular economy in 5 priority sectors in an effort to boost 638 trillion rupiah to its gross domestic product and open to 4 million job opportunities in 2030.
Head of Indonesia's National Development Agency Suharto Monoarfa said on Wednesday that the country is pushing from net zero emission in 2060 and currently in the process to transform its economy to be greener and more sustainable. One of the strategies is by integrating circular economy through the concept of reduce, recycle, reuse, repair and remanufacture across 5 priority sectors. By applying this concept, it will add 638 trillion rupiah to the country's gross domestic product and reduce carbon emission by 2030.
Penerapan ekonomi sirkuler pada 5 prioritas, yaitu pangan, elektronik, kemasan plastik, konstruksi dan tekstil akan memberikan manfaat antara lain peningkatan PDB hingga 638 triliun, penciptaan 4,4 juta lapangan kerja hijau dengan 75% merupakan tenaga kerja perempuan, pengurangan timbunan limbah hingga 52% dibandingkan business as usual pada tahun 2030, dan kontribusi pada penurunan emisi gas rumah kaca sebesar 126 juta ton karbon dioksida.
Minister Monoarfa said the implementation of circular economy in Indonesia was still low in 2023, with 9% in the material input, 4% in products durability, and 5% in recycle due to consumptive actions at the society that produce many trashes. Furthermore, the government will also cooperate with stakeholders to strengthen the circular economic plan and create a roadmap to unlock several benefits that has been mapped according to the framework.
Impact investing, an emerging field that aims not only to generate financial returns, but also to create positive social and environmental impacts, is making waves around the world, including in Indonesia. What is the landscape of impact investing here in the country? Now, to know more about the topic, joining me today is Instellar COO Adisti Chandra. Thank you for joining us here in Business Talk.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Of course, it's a pleasure. So let's talk about the market size first. So I have data here obtained from the Global Impact Investing Network. By 2022, impact investment is estimated to have a market size of $1,664 trillion globally. So this is a huge market, and Indonesia is expected as well to capitalize on the potential. But can you tell us first, what is the landscape of impact investing here in Indonesia?
Thank you. So impact investment in Indonesia, for now, in general, there are 2 types of impact investment. So one is by FDI, or financial development institution, which is mostly have a big project like infrastructure, renewable energy, clean technology. That is actually accounting around 90% of the total impact investment in Indonesia. But the rest of around 10% is actually by private impact investment, which is mostly doing to business. So usually this impact investment is go from business to business. They're targeting the growing company. It could be small, medium, but also large. So the trend right now is more towards the PII, the private one, which is quite scattered all around Indonesia, but we see the trend is currently rising up.
So it's currently rising, and the Kadin, or Indonesia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the CEO or the head of it, Arsyad Rashid, said that Indonesia is not only following the global trend, but also developing and becoming the most active investment destination in the region. So who are the key players if we look at the region of Southeast Asia?
In Southeast Asia, there are maybe more than 20% the investment going to Indonesia. In Indonesia, there are some key players as the impact investors that has been around for quite some time. For example, Patramar Capital but there are also other like foreign investors coming to Indonesia. But and unfortunately, like the player is quite scattered all around, and also the size of investment that they're targeting, also still looking for the big ticket size. So there is still in the region the missing middle, which is around $100,000 US up to $1 million. That is still it's a sweet spot, but also high risk, and not many investors are there to go into this size of investment. So for example, there are this ADM Capital, Temasek from the Singapore, ABC Impact, which is also part of Temasek, ADB Ventures. They're also the impact investors, but their ticket size is actually more on the bigger one.
That's right. So you mentioned that Indonesia is actually a very attractive destination. Why is that so?
I think one is because of the strong fundamental economy here in Indonesia, mostly like domestic driven. And then number two is the big consumer here in Indonesia, the biggest in Southeast Asia. And then three, I think, is the unique proposition of Indonesia. If you're looking at the landscape, there is a developmental challenge there because of the geography, right? And then, but we also see a lot of potential that we are one of the biggest forests in the world, and also the biggest mangrove in the world, right? So it actually addressed that there's still challenge in terms of social and environment, but also if we're looking at the size of the SMEs, which is more than 60 million, the entrepreneurial of Indonesian is actually very, very high. That makes it very interesting.
So we have a very good trait for this type of investment. So what sectors are the most attractive ones, if you may say, about the impact investing?
The sexiest right now is one, agriculture, and then two is circular economy, and three is climate with the gender lens investing.
Oh, wow. So what type of investment that is most suitable for this impact investing? Could you explain more on that?
So this impact investment is actually when you want to invest, you expect a financial return as well, but you also expect the impact return. So you have to meet the balance between this profit and the purpose. And it's very tricky. It's more difficult than the traditional business. And that's why in terms of the financial instrument, it's also not as traditional as debt or as equity like currently exists in this market. But the most suitable one, especially for the growing business, is the blended finance, which is it's a blend between grant or philanthropical money and the commercial money. That's why that it can be expected that the return is not as fast or not as big as a traditional business, but sustainable.
That's right. Okay, so from the findings of the Instellar team, what makes Indonesia attractive? I already asked you, but do you think this would go appealing, I mean, for the years to come?
Yes. I think we cannot go back anymore to the business that is bringing negative impact to the society and the environment. The world the trend is going there. Indonesia is moving there as well, pretty significant for the past 5 years. So I don't think that we will come back to doing the business that is more like destructive. Destructive
to the environment.
To the environment, but doing something that is more giving positive impact. So I think the trend is there, and we also see that nowadays there are so many social enterprises. It's different compared to like 10 years ago or 5 years ago. Nowadays, so many people, especially young generation, they want to create impact with the business that they're doing.
Right. The Instellar has a flagship program. That's called the incubation program, which aims to grow potential early-stage social entrepreneurs. Now, from your findings, what are the difficulties do entrepreneurs usually find, especially SMEs, when facing or wanting to get an investment secure?
So maybe from the point of view of the fund itself, the fund or investment that is currently available in the market is not really suitable for them. For example, if they go with the equity from the venture capitalists, they're not, their business model is not the unicorn kind of type that you expect a significant growth, like the hockey stick. The return is like 17 or more than that, eight times more than that. This is more like a business that grow more sustainable, more like, it's for sure, we're not as fast as the unicorn kind of type. So the VC investment is not suitable for them. But when you go into the debt right now that have offered by the traditional financial instrument like bank, financial institution like bank, they're not able to provide the collateral, for example. But if they go to the alternative funding, for example, the P2P lending or the alternative financing, the loan interest is too high for them. And also, some of them, they are not EBITDA positive yet, or they're not cash flow positive yet. So it has difficulties for them to pay back the loan at the end.
Okay, so from you're also aiming to see our SMEs or MSMEs growing and going towards more of the social impacts, environmental impacts, and they're doing business. But how big are they? I mean, how many, if you can say, we have a lot of SMEs in Indonesia, but how many that have actually gone towards this path of impact investment and more on the social and environmental impacts in the future?
We don't have the exact number because it's quite hard to find out like how many out of the 60 million of MSME that is social enterprises. But we do have from Installar's experience when we have this program and we call out the applicants to apply to us. For now, it's pretty a lot. Like one of our programs got application for around like 1,400 applicants who claim themselves as the impact businesses. Yeah. So the trend is really growing. So I'm not really sure. I don't have the capacity to say like how much out of this 60 million, but it's growing.
So the trend is there and it's promising, actually.
It's promising.
Okay, so what role do impact investments play in improving access to essential services, especially in the underserved communities in Indonesia?
Right. So these underserved communities in Indonesia usually get helped by the business model of the social enterprise. And this impact investment play a huge role to invest or providing the right financial instrument for the social enterprises, especially for them who are about to grow. So they need the bridging fund, which is formerly from the impact investment. This is the passion fund, the fund that require they can wait for quite some time. They also not require a lot of return from the social enterprises until these enterprises is actually able to access the traditional fund that is available in the market, for example, bank loans or private equity, that kind of instrument.
So how do you assess, I mean, the growth of these companies, especially the ones that is in the underserved communities? They got that passion fund, as you mentioned, and then they might grow a little bigger in the future. So how do you actually assess them to make them ready for the traditional way of investment?
It's basically from their financial strength. So with these social enterprises, usually there are the two KPIs. So one is the financial performance, their EBITDA, their revenue, and the other one is actually their impact. This could be like how many people that they're impacting, or for example, how many carbons that they affected, things like that. So until they are ready, for example, the EBITDA is strong enough, they can apply it to the private equity. Or if their cash is already stable and secure, they can apply it to the bank.
When you say it's promising, how big of a percentage, let's say, that it would actually contribute to Indonesian economy? Would that make any direct impact to that?
Maybe not as significant as if we're talking about impact investment in terms of infrastructure or the clean economy, clean technology, that kind of big capital. This won't be as big as that for the economic of Indonesia, but certainly it will give a big impact to the impact that they're fighting for. So, for example, there is this company, they are located in Nusa Tenggara Timur. They impacted all the women there who do the weaving. So when you're looking at the zoom in into the situation, the area of where this business is locating, then we can see the significance different from the natality rate, from the the income rate, the educational rate. So you can see it very impactful. But if we zoom it out into the Indonesian, there might not be as big as the infrastructure project, for example.
But what we need is actually to empower more and more Indonesians and giving them more opportunities.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Adisti, for coming to our business talk. It's lovely to have insights from you, and good luck for Instellar.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And that was our conversation on impact investing. Profit meets purpose. for today's business talk. You can stay connected with us on Instagram, X, and YouTube. Our handle is at See Today News, and we're also available online at seetodaynews.com. So let's stay connected.